Welcome, one and all, to Tastefully Nerd Sports, the show where we talk about the sporty side of nerds and the nerdy side of sports. They call me Green, we call him Gonzo, and we call this episode TFFF, or Thanksgiving's FFF. Game on.
Well, this Thursday is Thanksgiving. Gonzo, do you know what the 3 F's of Thanksgiving are?
What's that?
You're not going to try to guess?
Okay, food, food, and food?
Close. It's
Okay.
food,
Right.
family,
And
football.
football.
For most Americans.
Yeah, you can tell how much I like food. You know?
Yeah, in my household, we don't watch stuff on Thanksgiving except possibly the Macy's Day Parade.
Right.
But we have that in
That's, traditional.
classic. We'll have that in the background while we're doing prep and stuff. But
Yeah.
we tend to either do stuff as a family, like play games, like board games, or smack each other. Family stuff.
Yeah. Normal family things.
Normal family things. Take naps wherever you can find space. Normal Thanksgiving things. But the NFL plays sweet. They've been doing 3 games for a while now.
Yep.
Of games on Thanksgiving. And you got anything you could tell us about that?
Well, we got 3 games, on Thanksgiving Day. The 1 o'clock game, we have Chicago and Detroit. 4 o'clock game, we have Dallas and Buffalo. And then our night game, we have the Saints and the Falcons.
All right.
All shaping up to be, decent games. I think I'm most looking forward to the nighttime game, the Saints and the Falcons. I want to see Drew Brees back in action, and the Atlanta
Is this his
Falcons.
first primetime game back?
Yes.
so.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is his first primetime game back.
Yeah, so we've got a few storylines there. Early game, so Detroit and Dallas for decades now have been the customary Thanksgiving Day teams.
Yeah.
And then they expanded it to 3 with like a rotating basis. And so Detroit and Chicago. Could be a good match. It's a division rivalry. Chicago is technically still in the playoff hunt, so
Yes.
it means something to them. But to me, I feel like you can sleep in on this day.
Just maybe. I personally love watching Chicago play in general.
Big fan of defense.
Big fan of defense. I've always just had an appreciation for the Chicago Bears. They're just a classic football team. So I'll definitely get up and watch that one.
I still sleep in. The game's like noon, 1 p.m. still. I'm pretty sure it's still normal football time.
Oh yeah, definitely. Then we have the later game. You have Dallas and Buffalo, and Dallas coming off this loss to the Patriots. And Buffalo pulling out some sleeper wins this year. I'm looking forward to this a little bit. I want to see how it goes.
The story ever since Jason Garrett's taken over is that the Cowboys have been roughly 500 the whole time.
Yeah.
They've had good seasons, they've had bad seasons, they've had a whole bunch of mediocre seasons. On balance, they've been roughly 500.
Yeah.
And this year, they're not yet, but they're 0-4 against teams with winning records. Buffalo has a winning record. This is their chance in front of the whole nation to prove that they belong in the spot. But you know me, I think they're pretenders. I don't think they're real contenders. I think Buffalo's got this one. And I think we both agree Chicago's probably got it.
Yeah.
Especially if it's still
Chicago.
Driscoll.
Chicago probably has it, but let's see if Detroit wants to pull off a Turkey Day upset.
Turkey Day upset. And then New Orleans Saints and Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons, who looked like, we talked about this last week, they looked like a whole new team.
Yeah, they started to really pull it together.
Since Dan Quinn gave up play calling duties on defense. And that confidence had me very confident in Julio Jones.
Yeah.
When we get to fantasy, I'll explain why that was a fallacy. But for now, I think they can give New Orleans Saints a real trouble. They lost to Tampa Bay this weekend, but that was a close game, hard-fought game. The Saints won against Carolina, but that was, again, a close game, a hard-fought game.
Yep, Kyle Allen really gave them a run for their money.
So even though with that loss, the Falcons are pretty much officially out of it. I don't think they're technically officially out of it, but they're pretty much officially out of it.
They're basically out of it.
So really, you only have one team in that matchup who has a legit shot at the playoffs. But as long as it's a well-played game, I think people will come away happy.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't fight football on Turkey Day. Sit down, with big old plate, and watching football.
Yeah, man.
I will be trying to do all of that while also playing a good pickup game of neighborhood football. I'll try to keep my tradition going. Try to do that every year, but I have yet to find a good game this year.
You haven't done a pickup game this year?
No. Usually we do a Thanksgiving pickup game. I just haven't found any groups yet that are already setting the game up.
Well, I will be out of town, and we are both taking Thanksgiving Day off from the podcast. So this is the only update this week.
Yep.
I know we just recently switched to a twice-week schedule.
Yeah.
But for this week, it's back to once. I'm a big fan of Thanksgiving. I feel like it gets overlooked too frequently in favor of Christmas. And so I'm visiting family, and it'll be nice. I'm the only part of the Green clan that's still in Northern Virginia, and including the in-laws, that's just us and the in-laws in Nova. So it'll be fun to go see more of my family.
Yeah. Hopefully you have fun.
Yeah. Well, other than food and pick-up games of football, what other Thanksgiving traditions do you got in your household?
It's kind of been weird for Thanksgiving in my household the past couple of years. For the past, I want to say 5 years, my family has gone out of town to visit other family, to visit my stepdad's family in Newport News, Virginia.
Well, if you get to travel near a beach area.
Yeah. But normally I could not get, all the time off for the weekend because normally I'm working that weekend. So I would just stay home, and me and a buddy of mine, Andrew, would just do our own, bros giving. We would pick out something and, make something. One year we smoked ribs. One year we made some chickens. Another year, what did we do? We made some brisket, I believe. That's what we've done the past 4 years. I've spent it with him. Last year I went to one of my coworkers' house. And
It's just not him and his family, it's just him, essentially?
Yeah, because
Okay.
he wouldn't go back to see his family, which lives down in Farmville, Virginia, because he could also not get, all the time off the weekend.
Yeah, because it's hard to get... You kind of need more than just Thursday off to make the trip worth it.
Because nobody wants to travel on Black Friday. It's not fun. So we would just spend it together, and this year my family is actually going to be in town, so I'm going to have food with them. And for traditions for when we would actually spend time together, my mom would be in the kitchen cooking. I would normally help a little bit, and then at some point I'd take food up to my neighbor's house that lives 2 houses up. Grew up with her son Anthony, and I would always bring food up there, spend a little bit of time with them, and then mostly that day after we eat, I'm just going over to different friends' houses, making appearances for the holidays.
Okay, just dropping by.
Yeah, but so basically it's football and food and family.
Nice. So hey, I got it right with those 3 Fs then, baby.
Yeah. What about yourself?
Largely accurate here as well. We tend to get started with a big brunch. So you have a big brunch, and then we take a long gap between meals where we are prepping dinner. And in the Green household, we have a large extended family. So when we lived out west, it was much more convenient for them to visit. So we would have aunts, uncles, grandparents, cousins, nephews, nieces, the whole lot. So our
So
usually
you were the house to come to.
Yeah, usually ours, not always ours, but like everyone had relatively modest homes.
Yeah.
Modest middle class-ish homes.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of people in a narrow space, and that meant you had a lot of hands helping out. So one family would bring a dish, another family would bring another one, so on and so forth. We got started. We got started with a big brunch. We would always have deviled eggs for it.
Of course.
We would have gravid lox,
Ooh.
the bagel with the cream cheese, with the salmon with
Yeah.
the capers on top. Amazing. It's one of my favorite breakfasts to this day.
Okay.
So those are like always there, and then be kind of like a rotating dishes what people brought.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, we put the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade on the background. We watched the floats. We listened to the bands play. When we had just one TV, it was pretty much that. Certain houses, certain times, there'd be two TVs available. So a lot of times, us younger kids, we would go and we'd play like N64.
Yeah.
We'd play like big old
playing
games
video
of
games.
GoldenEye.
Yeah, that would be me and my cousins. We'd be playing, play video games somewhere, be outside running around doing something.
Oh yeah, we'd run outside. We played a lot of soccer. We lived off dirt roads almost all the time, so we do a lot of dirt road soccer, which is fun because there's not too many cars going by, so you don't have to pause the action too much.
Yeah. We'd end up playing Monopoly. We'd have a cousin battle out of Monopoly.
We tended to do board games after dinner. That was kind of the flow. So video games and TV and just running around was kind of like pre-dinner. But once you had like teenage, that's when you were allowed some of that.
Yeah.
But there came a point where it's like, all right, now it's your turn to help out in the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
We
all had to help out in the kitchen at some point.
You all had to do turns. Me and my younger brother kind of lucked out a little bit of that because, just as the family got smaller, people moved out. There was just less work to do, so it was more like, okay, cool. Well, you look like you got this. I'm gonna play some Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
But yeah, we always had certain fixtures. We always had a turkey. We usually had a ham, like a honey-baked ham. Not always, but usually. Yeah. We would have my younger brother's favorite, green bean casserole with the fried onions on top. We would have, for dessert, we would have pumpkin pie, and we'd have the mashed yams. Yeah. Sweet potatoes, yams, whatever, with the marshmallows cooked on top.
Okay.
Good stuff. Any signature dishes in the
That sounds
Gonzalez household?
That sounds pretty close to ours, but we actually ate the yams with the marshmallows on top with the dinner. And
I say dessert because I personally usually had it as a dessert, but it was all of this stuff was just brought out at the same time.
Yeah, definitely turkey and ham, always staples. Collard greens were always a must-have, and that was That was how my mom got the younger kids to help. Is we would have to take these giant leaves of collard greens, and he's like, okay, well we gotta strip all the stems off. So they would have to sit down and a giant bag of collard green leaves, and we'd strip all the stems down. And then that was when once we had that bag done, I was like, okay, y'all are free. Y'all have contributed enough.
You've done your share.
Yeah. So things like that. We've kind of rotated a lot of dishes here and there over the years, and I don't know, some through all the different Thanksgiving venues I've had such a wide range of different dishes. So I don't know. I don't think of anything as like kind of a traditional Thanksgiving dish anymore.
Yeah.
To me, it's just, kind of, turkey is like, the traditional Thanksgiving dish, and then everyone has their own variations of a lot of different things.
True.
Some people do mashed potatoes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, usually it was mashed potatoes. Typically someone would bring that, so we wouldn't need to make it.
Sometimes people would instead do potato salad instead of mashed potatoes.
Yep.
It's another thing.
Yeah, my mom liked to try out different recipes, so there was usually like... We always had the turkey. We usually had the ham. We always had the green bean casserole. Yeah. We usually had the yams and marshmallows. Those are kind of like the four that we pretty much always had. And then cranberry sauce. My mom would like to make her own cranberry sauce. Okay. Although there are times where we would just like, time's short, Can it up.
Yeah.
Can it up, but generally she makes her own cranberry sauce and her own stuffing as well.
It's kind of funny because I'm normally not big on cranberry sauce, but I would actually much rather have canned cranberry sauce than homemade.
See, but I
that's just me.
I definitely don't. Okay, it turns the lights off now. I definitely don't agree with that. But I guess it depends on who made the cranberry sauce.
Honestly, like I've had a couple. Like I don't really like cranberry sauce enough to like really say I have an opinion on this. But if I'm going to eat it, I'm probably going to eat the canned jelly cranberry sauce.
That was me in coleslaw for the longest time.
Okay.
I never cared for coleslaw. It wasn't that I didn't like it; I just didn't care for it.
Yeah, it was,
so people
like,
be
it was
like,
kind of unnecessary.
"Oh, this coleslaw is so much better than that coleslaw." I'm like, "Oh man, it's all coleslaw to me."
Yeah, it's just whatever.
There's that thing I put on a barbecue sandwich because that's what you do. It's customary. But yeah, so in the Southwest, a dish that we had a lot for Thanksgiving, that's not typical Thanksgiving. We had a tamales a lot.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
Sometimes.
My grandma being Spanish would always bring them over.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You got the blood connection.
Oh yeah.
We just got the vicinity.
And
you got the vitality.
It doesn't matter. If you got the vicinity of it, you will definitely have some good tamales.
Oh, for sure. Like sometimes it's like uncle's making it. Sometimes it's my mom making it. But that was kind of the one sort of like. We didn't always have this, but that was one of the dishes that cropped up a lot. That was a little more unusual. Yeah, and then we would eat, we'd pass out, and then we would usually play like board games. So we played Monopoly. One time we played like a huge game of Risk.
Ooh.
Me and my cousins. It was just me and my cousins, and this was a Thanksgiving at my grandmother's place. She owned a condo, and there was a little room in the back. So there was like a large conjoined room that was full of like guest beds and stuff. That's where we would all crash. And then there was like a small little room adjacent to that, and it largely had no purpose, but we would just periodically turn it into like the game room. And so we set up a game of Risk, and I don't know why this one took so long. I can't remember if we combined two boards, or I think we just had one board. We had twice the number of pieces, so there's like way more armies. I feel like that speeded up, but that game took like 3, maybe 4 hours. It was a long game of Risk.
All right. I mean, yeah, that was usually how our games of Monopoly would go, or the older heads in our family would, play spades, and, sometimes, us kids would play, our own game of spades, but, the older heads, that game would last for hours on end.
Oh, yeah. We would play, not as Thanksgiving per se, but we would play games of, usually around times we had a lot of candy. Me and my cousins, we would play games of poker.
Okay.
And the ante would be candies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be like, I'm gonna raise you 2 Tootsie Roll Pops. And be like, oh, I'll throw a Chup in there.
So did you ever have any disparities or disagreements over
that candy counts for equal numbers of candies? Yes, that would
like, I'm gonna raise you 3 Tootsie Rolls. No, that's not even to this.
Tootsie Roll ain't the same thing as a Snickers.
Oh yeah, no, Tootsie Roll is at least 5 Tootsie Rolls to 1 fun size Snicker bar at the very least.
Well, hopefully this year you have some. You're back with your family. You have some fun family.
My cousins are coming up, so they'll be in town, and I'll get to do some of my own traditions and do my football game, and then visit my friends. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this Thanksgiving a lot this year.
This will be my first Thanksgiving as a dad.
Yeah.
So
congratulations.
it'll be fun. Thank you. It'll be fun to see how Baby Green reacts to the whole thing.
I expect a lot of food on his face.
Yep, a lot of food. Maybe even some green food.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, I got the whole Green family in Northern Virginia here. Got Baby Green. Say hi, Baby Green. Nope, that's Cat Green. All right. So the one time Baby Green's quiet. And we got Lady Green.
Hello.
And we're here to talk about food. Well, food that matches the name of the clan.
Yeah.
Green food.
Oh, I thought you were about to say ham.
No, our name's not Ham.
Are you sure?
Nah, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I gotta return some paperwork.
I don't remember seeing that.
So, all this green and ham talk, what is this green ham of which you speak?
Well, I have been watching the Netflix miniseries Green Eggs and Ham, and that's what I'm kind of nerding out about, and I'd like to talk about it with you guys.
All right.
Especially since it's getting to be Thanksgiving, and some people cook turkey, some people cook ham, but it's food related, so.
Exactly.
We love food.
Yeah, this all three of the Thanksgiving F's apparently.
Yep. All three.
Food, friends, and what's the other F?
Food.
Just more food.
Just more food.
Actually, you know what? Get rid of friends. It's just food, and food.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was.
See?
That was what Gonzo said when I asked him
Like
that
I
question.
said.
I asked him that question earlier in the episode, and he said the same thing.
This is why I'm not invited to anyone's parties anymore.
Just eat all the food. It's all mine.
And I just stand in the corner and stare.
All right. Well, I'm gonna play with Baby Green. Why don't you fill in Gonzo on what goes on in this show?
All right. So, basically, it is a very loose interpretation of everyone's favorite Dr. Seuss novel, Green Eggs and Ham. So,
Okay.
Novel.
it's not novella, I guess.
Storybook. It's a storybook.
I mean, it's a little bit above my reading level.
Oh, fair enough.
So it's more of a novella, like a little. It's for young adults.
It's a young adult novel.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, go on.
Anyway, so basically they've kind of expanded upon the basic story, that we're all familiar with. Where they actually separate each individual stanza into its own episode. Like, for example, you have I Will Not Eat It in a Car, and they have an episode called Car, where they're just in a car, and there's all this stuff happening, and I Will Not Eat It in the Dark, and there's a whole episode about that, and it's really, really cool how they... Yeah, very clever.
Okay, so you have, one stanza per episode, I guess?
Yes, pretty much.
And how long are these episodes?
They're only about, I would say maybe, oh golly, I don't even remember. I think 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're either 15 or 30 minutes. I don't remember.
Okay, and making one stanza into a full episode doesn't seem kind of elongated in a weird way.
So there are points that kind of drag, but that's not because of the way they have the episodes set up. There's actually a bunch of mini storylines going on.
Okay.
As well as the main storyline.
Yeah, the Green Eggs and Ham thing is kind of a subplot.
Uh-huh.
They took the main plot of the book and made it like a running subplot of a new storyline that they're telling with this show.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, there are some parts that are really, really strong, and there are some parts that are a little bit hard to get through because it's kind of like, all right, let's get back to the adventure, let's move along. Nothing's really progressing very fast. But one thing I have to note, and that is the animation. The animation is absolutely beautiful. And
I've
it's
seen clips of it. It looks great.
It's actually traditionally cell animated, hand drawn, not pencil and paper anymore. Of course, it's all digital, but it's still hand drawn.
Yeah.
In that sense, each individual
Everyone's
cell.
got their tablet that they're drawing on.
Yeah.
Tablet.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Which honestly, I feel like those are even harder to draw on than paper sometimes.
It can be. They're good for revisions. Anyway, back to topic. Sorry, love.
But yeah, it was absolutely beautiful, very fluid. Like everything just moved perfectly. Like even down to the way ears were moving, and their facial expressions are incredibly animated. And I don't know about how much animation usually costs, but hand-drawn animation is incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
Compared to
just computer generated.
Computer generated, exactly. So this is probably Netflix's most expensive original series, I would think.
Okay.
Maybe most of the original animated series.
That's
Yeah.
well, of course.
They definitely, because some of their live action stuff is very effects driven as well.
Yeah, we're not talking about that. I'm talking definitely just related to animation versus hand-drawn versus computer animated.
Okay. And you finished it all and you really enjoyed it?
I did. I would definitely give it a solid 8 out of 10. Like I said, there are parts that kind of drag. There were 2 characters in the show that I wasn't too terribly fond of, and they are characters completely original to the series. And it is a young girl and her mother, and it's the trope of overprotective mother, rebellious daughter, and they do kind of fix it at the end, but the entire time I'm watching it, I'm so used to... I was raised in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, there was a lot of movies and TV shows of the, you know, rebellious child and the overprotective parent, where basically the parent learned to give the child freedom. Mm-hmm. This is the opposite. The child actually learns to respect the mother and be okay with the overprotective nature. And the mom doesn't really... She kind of relinquishes a little bit of freedom, but if you were to watch it and see just the comical extent of her overprotective nature, like she wraps her child in bubble wrap at one point, and she drives like 0.5 miles an hour down the road. It's just not... It's incredibly unhealthy.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Just kind of rubs you the wrong way.
It really does. It's like, oh, I should have listened to my mother. She's right. It's like, no, but she's really... And there was this one scene where the mother almost has a nervous breakdown. And it was incredibly uncomfortable to watch. I know they were playing it for laughs.
Yeah.
But to me, it was just a little odd, because she was trying to have fun, and even just the basic little bit of fun was giving her an anxiety attack. So that was strange.
Good. So what's the overall plot about, you know, in the story? Because, you know, if they take, you know, the green eggs and ham and make that kind of, you know, a subplot throughout the...
Well, it's not even a subplot. It's more of just kind of a running gag.
Okay.
Like, he just... Basically, Sam I Am, he loves green eggs and ham. And the other guy, the guy who's like, I don't like green eggs and ham, they actually named him Guy Am I.
Guy Am I.
Instead of Sam I Am, it's Guy Am I. But he doesn't like green eggs and ham, and the whole time he's like, no, but you gotta try it, it's so good. But that's really the extent of it. He eats it, he's sad that his friend doesn't eat it, and that's the extent of it.
Okay.
At least until the very end, where it all kind of wraps up. But I won't tell about that.
Okay.
But the basic plot, they've actually turned this into almost a heist. Actually, they turned it into exactly a heist show, where basically in the first episode you discover that Sam I Am is actually an animal wildlife protector. And he's introduced as almost like a ninja, and he goes in and he kidnaps, well, he doesn't kidnap, he rescues a chickaraffe, which is half chicken, half giraffe, from the zoo.
Half chicken, half giraffe. Okay, I can imagine that.
Yep, and there are actually two bad guys, and they're called the bad guys, that's their actual names, following them to get the chickaraffe to give to a collector, who is going to basically just imprison the chickaraffe in his wall for display purposes only. So, and Guy Am I, he is a failed inventor, and he somehow gets wrapped up in this heist simply by having the same suitcase as Sam I Am. Sam I Am notices he has the same suitcase.
Classic mix-up.
So, I've only seen the first 3 episodes, but it kind of reminds me, in a way, of Dumb and Dumber for kids. So it also involves a mix-up with a suitcase. Our main character ending up with the wrong suitcase, albeit one they shouldn't have in the first place. And there's, you know, 2 guys on the road with the ill-gotten gains that are being pursued by 2 bad guys who, you know, are a guy and a girl. And it's kind of similar dynamic in this, which I think is funny. Anyway... Me and will go back to playing.
So yeah, it's very, like I said, it's very beautiful to watch. The animation's incredibly pleasing. The voice acting's amazing. You have Eddie Izzard. You have, he played Ant-Man.
Paul Rudd.
No, other one.
Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas. Plays
Keegan
Guy.
Really?
Really? Keegan-Michael Key is actually the narrator. There's a lot of really big names.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm definitely interested in seeing this because as a kid, I loved the book, and then I had a weird obsession with green eggs and ham. For a while, that was all I wanted to make, all I wanted to cook, all I wanted to eat. So it was an all the time thing for me. So
I mean,
Some green food dye.
Green food. I don't know. I don't know. I was just really
let
obsessed
it sit out
with
in the sun.
I mean, I could have did
tangy
that.
ham. But yeah, that's what I've been nerding out about.
Sounds good.
And you guys should definitely check it out.
I will definitely check it out. One of my friends recommended it to me because she watches it with her son, who is a little bit older. I think he's almost 2 now, maybe 3. But yeah, she watched it with him, and she loves it and was saying that basically the same things. The animation is just so crisp, it's nice, and it flows so naturally. And it was a really cute, nice story. So I'm definitely going to check this out here real soon.
It's halftime, ladies and gentlemen. It's also the time for the answer for last week's question of the week. Last week I had asked, back in 1994, the very first banned and restricted list for Magic the Gathering was released. Could you name, in the comments, 3 of the 5 banned cards? And extra special shout out if you could name one of the common themes between 4 of the 5 banned cards. Unfortunately, as of this recording, no one got the answer right. So there will be no special shout out today. Aww. I will, however, still let you know what the answer is. So the first ban list included the cards Contract from Below, Dark Pact, Demonic Attorney, Jeweled Bird, and Scheherazade. Now the theme linking 4 of those 5 cards is the ante, a rule that used to exist in the very early days of Magic the Gathering, where you would reveal the top card of your library. Each player would do this before they played, and the winner would get both cards, so you'd actually lose a random card for each game you lost. This obviously was not a very popular mechanic with players, especially since some cards were worth a lot of money and other cards were worth next to nothing. So it was quickly eliminated from the official rules, and all of the cards that specifically referenced ante were also eliminated from the game. The 5th card, Scheherazade, involves you playing a sub-game of Magic the Gathering that just really drew things out. But if you're interested in playing Magic the Gathering or other trading card games, why, you can check out our pseudo-sponsor, Tastefully Nerd Trading Card Store. That's right, I sell cards. You can go to tcgplayer.com, search for Tastefully Nerd, and you'll find my store. Our other sponsor of the day is Green Roots Gaming, for fine purveyors of video gaming streaming needs. When you want to watch a game, but you can't be bothered to actually play it, go to twitch.tv/greenrootsgaming. Now I'm going to turn things over to Gonzo for our new question of the week. As per usual, if you comment with the correct answer in this video's YouTube comments before Monday at midnight next week, because we record on Tuesday, you'll get a special shout out. And there'll be an extra special shout out if you get the extra portion of the question correct.
Okay, on to our new question of the week. What classic Christmas song was originally written for Thanksgiving? And you will get an extra special shout out if you can tell us what the original name of the song was before it was changed to its new Christmas themed version.
Welcome back to the show. We talked so much about food today that it made me a little hungry. A little hungry for some local flavor.
There.
Well, local flavor today, there's not a whole lot going on. Arizona teams haven't caught Coyotes. I did watch Phoenix Suns defeat Minnesota Timberwolves in a very close nail-biter. But we dropped 4 of 5 games the last week because we're down 4 starters. So it's kind of hard in a sport where you only have 5 starters to win when you have 4 of them out.
Yeah.
Arizona Cardinals were on bye, but Mr. Redskins fan over here, he's got some news for us. Why don't you lay it on us, Gonzo?
Yeah, so the Redskins got their second win of the season. Woo! Woo! Above the Detroit Lions. It was a pretty good win. Came down to the very end. We kicked the field goal and got it the last couple of seconds. And yeah, I don't know what happened. The Detroit Lions made our defense look spectacular, and Dwayne Haskins was doing some good things. Chris Sims had his long touchdown.
I'll tell you what happened. Driscoll starting happened.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun to watch for a Redskins game this season. You know, they haven't been very fun to watch at all.
No.
Games were $5 nosebleed tickets this week, so that was a big story in the news. But yeah, so anybody who went to the game on those $5 tickets, they definitely lucked out.
They got their money's worth.
Oh yes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know. Well, we personally know a friend who has family that's from the Detroit area, and I know they were going. So even though their team lost, at least they didn't spend a lot of money to watch them lose.
Exactly. You know, if you're gonna go to a game of a sucky team, then you know might as well not pay a lot for it.
Yeah, man, Detroit, man, they were supposed to be good, but I'm telling you, the Belichick coaching tree. It does once you've fallen from the branch, you die. Yeah. The fruit of that tree does not give very good seeds.
Yeah, only players get good seeds out of the Belichick Belichick tree. You know, right
that's
now
true.
we got Jimmy G over in San Francisco doing fairly well. Jacoby Brissett was also with them for a while.
Jacoby Brissett was doing good for the Colts, yeah. And then what's his name? Donta Hightower?
Yeah, Dante Hightower.
Right, he's with the Detroit Lions now, right? They did not. That one hasn't panned out so well yet.
Yeah, but what can you do? You're on the Lions.
A lot of people like to point out. So it tends to be defensive-minded coaches from the Patriots, like Brian Flores, like Matt Patricia, like others whose names are escaping me right now. Bill O'Brien, I think, used to coach.
Yeah.
For the Patriots as well. It tends to be defensive-minded coaches who come from Patriots and underperform. And that's because, and a lot of times the defensive-minded players tend to underperform and they come out of the Patriots system as well. And I think that has to do with the fact that Bill Belichick was, of course, the defensive coordinator for those Super Bowl winning Giants teams under Bill Parcells. And he's always been viewed as a defensive mastermind, which I think is why they go to so much effort to keep Scott McDaniels, because the offensive side of that equation is not his strong point, and I think he knows this. And that's why he wants to keep those really good coaches.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. He's definitely trying to keep Josh McDaniels.
Well, he agreed to that Colts job, willing to turn it down. Now, Frank Reich?
Right. I actually don't know.
I think it's Reich.
Reich.
He's a German name. Yeah. He's done an admirable job with the Colts since taking over.
Yeah.
Especially having to deal with an injured Luck and then a retired Luck. And keeping them, I mean, they did lose their last game. They still have a winning record, but they're no longer in control. They ceded control of their division, AFC South, to the Texans. But he's still keeping them in it.
Yeah, they're definitely still in it. They don't look bad by any means, so it's definitely going to come down to the wire for them.
Yeah, exciting times, man. Yeah, anything else you want to add about that Redskins victory?
Hopefully we can salvage at least a little bit of the season. Give Dwayne Haskins some decent reps. And some good games, and
give time for the O-line to gel.
Yeah, and hopefully rebuild next year and keep on rebuilding.
Oh yeah, it's definitely rebuild time.
Yeah,
we'll just see if the craftsmen with the tools know what they're doing. Quick clarification: I'm going to say Trey Flowers left for Detroit. Hightower they held on to in New England, although he's been struggling with injuries this year. Trey Flowers moved to Detroit and has not lived up to expectations. Hasn't been like a terrible player, but not the breakout star he was in New England. You know what we're talking about right now? We're talking about fantasy.
Woo!
Fantasy football. I have a fantasy. It's that I'm going to make the playoffs. But right now, my football half ain't living up to the expectations.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going?
I have a decent chance to make the playoffs. We have quite a jumble in our playoff hunt right now.
Mm-hmm.
With how I've predicted it, there are going to be at least 4 teams after this week that are in the hunt for the last 3 spots.
Yep.
And I honestly don't know how it's going to turn out.
It's kind of wild, yeah.
It's going to be crazy. Some people for next week have, easy matchups. Other people have harder matchups. And it's all going to come down to the wire, I believe.
Yep. As of time of this recording, the Ravens-Rams game is still going on. We're recording this a day early because of the Thanksgiving break. So, I'm not out of it yet. If Mark Ingram gets me exactly 50 or more points, pull off the upset, pretty much clinch a playoff spot.
You would still be... You wouldn't clinch it, but you would be in the hunt. Right now... I have pegged you as losing just because 50 points is quite a height to climb. But if you do, you will be number 5 out of the 4. And this also doesn't include another matchup that is very integral to these playoffs projections that it could be 6. It could be 6 teams vying for 3 spots. And
it's really clustered all in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
No, I still have a shot, but the thing is, I'm now beyond. I do not have control of my destiny.
Yeah.
I need tiebreakers to work out in my favor from here on out.
You need to either win
next week's the last week.
You need either to win this game, and you'll be somewhat in control. If you do not win this game, then a good couple of people need to lose, and you will still have a shot.
Yep. I am the commissioner. I have never not made the playoffs. I've never not made at least my money back as the commissioner of this league. So it'll be a little bit of egg on my face if I lose this.
Yeah.
It'll be a bit of egg on my face just from our start-sit swaps as well.
Oh yeah.
I got big fat 0. I had said before, the start rule is the player has to get at least 15 points per ESPN PPR points. We kind of made that sort of like a gimme, and I've almost always got the start right. I did not get the start right when I picked Mark Ingram. He came off a monster performance for a very pedestrian game. And I thought I had a gimme this week also with Julio Jones against that pretty bad Tampa Bay defense.
Yeah.
But you know what? They kept him to only 11 points.
Yep.
So if he was my swap, I'd be in there. But he wasn't. He was my start, so they don't get nothing. I said to sit John Brown. I thought Chris Harris Jr. was going to be doing a good job controlling him. To be honest, he didn't rack up a ton of yards or catches, but he did get a touchdown. Finished with 11 points. Got 0 for that. I said, you know what? Put in Taylor Gabriel. He's been a little erratic this year, but he had a really good game. He was coming off a really good game, rather. He was playing the Giants. I always factor in a few extra points for the Giants. Well, I guess those few extra points were the only points he got. Because he finished sub 3 points, and that means I finished with 0 points for start-sit swap. How'd yours go?
My start-sit swap went pretty good this week. I'm still waiting on the results of this Ravens-Rams game. As I started Mark Ingram, and if he makes his points, if he makes his 15 points like I believe he would, I will have...
He's on a good track for it.
I will have 3 points... 3 points for the week. I sat Greg Olsen. He just barely missed his mark. He made 9.4 points, so I get the point there.
Dang, one more catch, man.
And then switched him out with Jared Cook, and Jared Cook really went off. He had 21.9 points. That is my other point. So hopefully I can make this a 3 for 3 this week.
Yeah, last week when you announced that Jared Cook was going to be your swap, I was like, he had just come off his first really good game as a Saint, and it looked like him and Drew Brees were finally connecting. And boy, did they connect.
Yeah.
99 yards in the TD. That's a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, who's your start-sit swap for this upcoming week?
This upcoming week, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm going to start Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is running back for Green Bay. He's been having a phenomenal year there. He's been really, really making a face. And I
just got a live update real quick. Sorry. I did not play Marquise Brown because he'd been pretty inconsistent lately. I put in Amari Cooper, who had been excellent, barring one game so far this year. Amari Cooper got completely shut down by Stephon Gilmore. I got 0 points from him. Marquise Brown just caught his second touchdown pass of the game and is almost at 18 points already. Oh boy, I would have probably won this matchup if I had made the.
You might have.
I mean, you kind of always got to start Amari Cooper, to be fair, but like, boy, that's rough.
Really coming to bite you on the butt.
Yeah. And I'm like, come on, man. Can't Ingram punch those touchdowns in? I mean, he's already got 5 points in only one quarter. That's good odds.
Yeah.
But that's not good odds for getting 50. I'm sorry. I did not mean to interrupt.
No. It's A-okay. A-okay. You had to address that
I did.
little tidbit.
In real time, that will be late time when this goes live tomorrow.
So, starting Aaron Jones, going to be sitting Darren Waller. Darren Waller is the tight end for Oakland.
Yeah. He's having a fantastic rookie season.
Yeah, he's had a pretty good rookie season, but he's also been kind of up and down.
Yeah.
And he has one...
I mean, and they just got not shut out, but they just got shut down by the Jets.
Yeah,
so.
By the Jets, of all people. But, yeah, he's been kind of up and down. He'll have a good game, then a couple of, decent games. So, I will say, he won't make his 10 points this week. And then,
fair enough.
Hopefully, I can count on my swap to make it the most sure hands the NFL has ever seen, Larry Fitzgerald.
Larry Legend, baby.
Yep. I'm going to swap him out. You can always count on Larry to get, at least a good, decent, couple of points.
In PPR for this season, he hasn't always hit 10, but he's been in the ballpark of 10. So that's really, really smart. In regular scoring, he's kind of touchdown or bust right now, but PPR, he's all right. He's pretty
because
solid.
he'll make his catches and make a couple yards on those catches. So I trust him a little bit.
Good choices, man. Well,
what about you?
Since, as I said, the start is kind of your easy one, and I thought I had a gimme last week, I'm going to jinx myself again and say I got a gimme this week. I'm going with Run CMC, your borderline MVP, Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
The little rhyme you got there.
I know, yeah. I didn't invent it, unfortunately. But, so, like I said, for this first inaugural season of Start Sit Swap, there were no restrictions on the start. That will probably be different next season, but I'm going to take advantage of the fact that, as per the rules I invented, I can play whoever I want right now, and I'm going to play a guy almost assuredly going to get 15 points, barring injury. Fingers crossed.
Yep.
That does not happen. I'm going to say this: sit Michael Gallup. He's only projected for 11 points, so this is a pretty easy sit. I mean, he just catches one fewer catch than expected. That being said, sometimes it gets hot. You don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going to swap in Christian Kirk, who is projected for just shy of 10 points. And so he just catches one extra. As of the time we're recording, he just catches one extra catch, and he's now in that spot, making those 10 points. And he was battling injuries, and he had a bit of a forgettable game last time he played. But for the most part, he's been the firmly established number 2 wide receiver. So I think it's nice. It's cool. We both went with Redbirds, Arizona Cardinals players for our swaps. Hopefully they do well. Hopefully they hold their own against the Rams. And yeah, anything you're looking forward to?
For games next week, I haven't looked at too many of them besides the Thanksgiving game. I'm definitely looking forward to watching all those games on Thanksgiving, and then I'll just be eyeing our fantasy scoreboards mostly,
Same.
I will be eyeing those
Same.
intently every step of the way just to see how it turns out.
Yeah.
As I believe I will have to watch them until Monday night.
Oh yeah,
the
this
end of
is going to
Monday
be
night.
too close. And Marquise Brown's going in.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you this now.
Yep.
Keeps this performance up. Yeah, man. All in on Ravens players.
Yeah, Ravens players are definitely the ones to bet on this year.
Yep. Yeah, I will be probably not catching a ton of football because I'll be busy between work and Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just go easy. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna watch the Cardinals game.
Okay.
Well, I listened to it on the radio, so I'll be paying attention to the Cardinals game. That's what I'm looking forward to, both in real life because they've had a week off, they're healthy, and in fantasy. And hopefully, David Johnson gets some touches because he has finished with 0 points, fantasy points, the last 2 weeks before now. But you know what? I won those games.
Yep.
And I was saying maybe he's a good luck charm. Maybe I should have started him, even though he was gone on a bye, and I would win this game. Who knows? But I want to see him get more involved in the play calling. Get more involved in the plays. I want to see him do well. So that's what I'm looking forward to. See if he gets back on the field. See if we can beat the Rams for the first time since Sean McVay took over as head coach. And like I said, I'm counting on Kirk to get some points. I'll most likely be starting Kyler Murray. So from a fan perspective, I'll be watching it also.
All right. Sounds good.
Well, it sounds like we're about done here tonight. Thank you very much, everybody. Feel free, and I implore you, rather, to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel here.
Hit that button.
Smash that like button, baby. If you're not gonna, let's just be honest, man. You're probably not gonna be smashing anything else right now. I'm gonna smash that like button. You know what I mean?
Might as well.
Ring that bell for notifications. Insult me for insulting your prowess in the comments. Answer the question of the week. It's easy shout out. Maybe there's a prize in the line for you. We're still working on some prize support for that. But I've been Green. You can find me on Twitter at Tastefully Nerd.
And I've been Gonzo. You can find me as well on Twitter at They Call Me Malu, Maluu.
One of these days he'll actually update it, I'm sure.
One of these days, I will get back into full swing Twitter. I'm only semi-swing Twitter at the moment.
Semi-swing?
Exactly.
A little to the left.
Exactly.
You can find the show on Facebook at Tastefully Nerd. Thank you all for listening.
Game off.